Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of SRDevs, where our motto might be that two games in the hand is worth more than one game in the hand is worth more than a bunch in the bush, a bunch in your head.
Ooh, that actually, okay, hold on. That is, first of all, I find it hilarious that we actually go with the motto bit again, because I thought that was just a joke last time to say, to point at the...
Well, the first time we had a motto,
sarcasm.
Second time we didn't have a motto, and now we might have a motto.
Yeah, you're right.
You'll figure out what I do in the fourth episode. You're gonna be you're gonna be wowed by the motto bit we have prepared.
Schrodinger's motto. I'm waiting for it. Oh, afraid. Sorry. I guess
it's fine. I guess
two mottos think alike or something.
Gulps. It's not like I care or anything.
We're back. It's been a while since we did one of these, huh?
Yeah. But that means we have a lot this is a progress update on how our developing minds have developed.
I was gonna say, yeah, how our minds develop as well. Not just how our minds develop. Wait, not just how our minds develop things, but also how our minds develop themselves.
Okay, ChatGPT.
So. Was that an AI coded answer?
It was a little bit. It's not just development. Goodness. It's also improvement of the mind.
You have to.
You're iconic for that. And then like a sprinkle in some emojis.
Oh yeah. No, you're doing the ChatGPT thing where it always does like a... That was a great question.
That was a great question. And yeah, I guess I'd be here for that. If you have anything else you want to ask me, go ahead and just let me know.
Anyways, I wanna go back to the motto actually that you had, which I thought was pretty. I mean, you just thought of it in the moment, but it was kind of true in a certain way. It, at least to me, it spoke to me. Okay, klabss. It spoke to me in the way that, and let me know if you said something else and I just completely misinterpreted. But you basically said, the game that you're working on at the moment, finish that rather than, or, whatever you're working on at the moment, finish that rather than shooting for the billion other ideas you probably have. I don't know, is that like the opposite of a distraction project?
Pretty much. It's to say there is more value in posting it, which is what our last episode was about.
Good point.
Or just getting it done. Like it's better to get a project done than to have like 10 that never get done, which I think we could all agree on.
Yeah. Speaking of getting projects done, I think there was something that you got done until since the last episode.
Let me think. Yes, I did in fact finish how to increase the JSON limit in Scratch.
We got season 2, baby.
That was the big project I've been working on for 7 years.
Yeah. Honestly, a bit underwhelming, klabss, I'll be honest.
I know. I did have a side project called Goomblegurt 2 or something like that.
Now that
stupid name.
Now that one, even though it took you like a day to make, oh boy, that was
what a side project. That's true. That's true. I guess it was okay. Thanks. I appreciate you buttering my biscuit. Trying to make me feel better.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, you got to take the compliments with the non-compliments. Like, I feel like, okay, I mean, jokes aside, we've talked a lot about Goomblegurt on and off the podcast, the various podcast formats that we have, but I don't think we've had the chance to really dive into it in the way that we can on an SRDevs, because I feel like you probably also were able to reflect a bit on Goomblegurt 2 since then, and how the whole release went, how you feel about the game now that it's out, how you feel about the next steps afterwards, I guess.
I think this podcast thrives on next steps, especially since I'll talk a little bit about what I haven't covered, but like I think I'm more interested in your next steps, and I have been thinking about what I want to do next as well.
That sounds good.
But I guess for stuff I didn't talk too much about on the podcast, music.
Oh,
so
especially regarding Scratch's new
yeah.
stance on that.
So as everyone knows, Gumblegrid 2 has had a long and arduous development cycle.
Oh yeah.
And early on, I did a lot more development with ARCs. And when ARCs wanted to step back from coding, they wanted to make music for the project. And that was very nice of them because they made a big album with a lot of music in it. But a lot of it I didn't know how to use. Like, a lot of it didn't work very well as like a loop for the background. Like, a lot of it was very cinematic. It was very much like trailer music, which isn't derogatory. It's just like, you know,
it's a different
song, it's like dun, dun,
different
dun,
vibe.
dun, dun, and then it ends like a dun, 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 dun. Like, what, am I gonna loop that? Am I gonna go back to dun, 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 dun? Like, we're just gonna be wandering around the little Goomble fields as epic orchestral synth music loops. So
it just wasn't what you were like exactly what you were looking
and
for.
like it whenever Marks and I would like go back and forth on a song, it never like was super productive. Like, I'd say like, oh, why don't we try doing this, and it just didn't translate very well. And then we would just get a song we both thought didn't sound very good. So it just wasn't, we just didn't have the compatibility for making the music. So I ended up like, just because it was slowing down like the development to try and like coordinate that, I was like, I'm just gonna use the music, and if we can replace the tracks later, that's awesome.
With something similar sounding, or or going for the same vibe rather.
So in the first chapter I tried to use a lot more ARC's music, but when I got to the second chapter I kind of ran out of ones that I liked a lot, and so I started putting more and more just other people's music, and then by the time I got to like chapter 5 and 6, it's 6, 7.
Nice.
I started just using basically other people's music, and while I will say Gumblegrid 2 has like the best soundtrack of all time, it's like goated. That's because it's a soundtrack that could never exist in a licensed video game because it contains like 50 different artists' music, and so like it, I really like it as like a playlist of music I had listened to, but it has now made it so I can't publish this game.
Publish it anywhere else.
Yeah, and now it's even a question of can I have it published on Scratch.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell. I mean, I haven't seen them DMCA take down anything recently. I also got like comments from people saying like, "Oh, don't worry, klabss. They actually don't care about copyrighted music." And then I go and look at the terms of service, and it's still there. Like, it says you're not allowed to use music you don't own or have explicit permission to own. So I think that's just misinformation. Probably coming from people coping a little bit. They're like, oh no, wait, this can't possibly be true. They don't care.
No worries.
Don't panic. Don't quit. I'm not quitting unless they hate me specifically for having all my copyrighted music.
You think? I mean, we talked about it on the podcast. I just wish they like muted everything instead of just straight up taking down any project with any copyrighted material.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Exactly.
I prefer that as well. But anyway, so this has come to a dilemma because I would like to add more stuff to Gumblegrid 2, but I can't do that with the JSON limit. So I would want to post it on another website or on Steam. But I can't because all the music is not owned by me. So the path forward at this point is like to commission artists basically to remake the songs, or contact the artists of some of these songs and ask, hey, are you okay with me putting this in a game? I guess.
Yeah, I think that makes sense though, depending on the song. Like, some of them are pretty well known, and I assume it wouldn't be cheap or possible at all to get their
no, like I'm not gonna get a lot of the bossa nova songs. Probably one of them is the cover song. I might be able to get the cover. I don't even know what the legality of that is.
I don't know either, to be fair.
And luckily a lot of them are Pilot Red Sun, and they're kind of chill, so they might just be fine with me using their music. We'll see.
For exposure.
I just think they don't care. I think they're just like they're just a random chill guy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because they're just an indie artist posting their stuff to YouTube and whatnot. But I don't know. Like, and I might have to give royalties at the game if I end up selling it, and I don't mind that for like some of these artists that I really like.
May I ask, how did you find them? Like, especially if they're like like lesser known. Was there something that led you there? I mean, you can also not go into it and I'll just cut it, but...
No, I think Pilot Red Sun has some like popular meme videos, and then in their meme videos they have like weird music in the background, so then I look up like their music, and then they have less popular playlists of just all their weird original music.
Wow, okay. Yeah. So it's just over, I heard this good song somewhere in a meme.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And they just have like, they have my favorite music ever. It's just very weird and like wonky, grinkly, strange music, and it's perfect. I don't even know how I would replace it, but if I have to, I will. So that's like the hiccup on the next steps for Gumbelgurt 2. I do want to make another Gumbelgurt game at some point. I'm still figuring that out though.
I mean, you still have some, like, are you talking about a Gumbelgurt game in the way that it plays inside the universe and doesn't really mechanically have anything to do with
No, I wanted to play similar. It'd be another creature capture battling game.
Cool. If you're considering it being another game entirely, does that mean you do something still different mechanically, or would it just, the core would absolutely still be the same? It's just different, like a different way around it, basically.
Well, I want to do like low poly 3D.
Oh, yes.
And I wanted to make a mechanic that you could combine two Goombas and it would like use an algorithm to generate a new one.
That's beautiful.
And you could like do that infinitely.
Yeah. Oh goodness. It's eugenics. But
not. But like, it's funny, that game came out and I played it and I'm like, this is a game I just would have made. Like, this is...
I know exactly how you feel.
Like, I was thinking about making like a strategy tactics game like this, and I was even like working on it with MacLeod, and like it had a bunch of class systems, and it was like, okay, interesting.
It is so easy to get imposter syndrome from the billion things releasing on this planet, but I don't think it should ever discourage you from going through with what like you're doing, because to all the people out there who feel the same, like, oh man, I wanted to release Slay the Spire 2, is exactly what I was looking for in my game. And then you're like, I mean, what it boils down to is, if you don't just look at that game and like carbon copy it, whatever you make will have your like soul, if you will, in there. And I think that's that holds true. Like, every game is gonna have some part of you in there that will make it unique in a way. And yes, people might say, I've seen this before, this is basically blah. But then again, let's say Binding of Isaac started the whole like roguelike craze, and are you gonna call all the roguelikes that came afterwards like Isaac clones? I wouldn't say so.
Well, also, like, every single game can be described as a combination of other games. Like there is truly no original game.
Exactly.
Now, in my perspective, it doesn't make me insecure. It just makes me like, wow, I can't believe Edmund McMullen is like one of my past lives or future lives. I can't believe he, I can't believe he just made the exact same thing. I feel that with several game creators. I'm like, oh, okay, we share a soul. I see. I understand. I can't wait until I get to live that life.
Yeah. I've mentioned Slay the Spire 2 a bit ago, but boy.
I wonder if there's a connection there to my good friend Nick Apfellord.
I love that game. It is truly amazing. I've only played it for, we've played it on stream together, and I've played it a little bit outside of it. I wish I could play more of it, and why I don't get too much anymore. I can get to that in a minute, but this game has so many of those moments, and instead of it being discouraging, it's really just like how you said it, it's just a wow, I share a mind with these. And I could have never made Slay the Spire 2. I also want to point that out as well.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of people, lots of people's work that went into that. It's not like, I'm not saying I literally thought of everything they made in there, but
no, but like
looking at the timeline feature,
places with like the main director, this is a game you would have made.
It could have been a similar experience in the end, because it's so funny. I don't even know if I've posted this anywhere, but like the enchantments that I made for Taranga, are they also called enchantments in? I
think they might
in
be.
Slay the Spire. Yeah. It might be. It doesn't matter because it's the word you use for what you're empowering a card with a certain effect that stays on there, but like. That and what we talked about last time, I believe, or maybe it was in the first SRDevs, where we were like thinking about how to incorporate story into a roguelike at all, and the way Slay the Spire 2 did it with the timeline, I found really, really cool. Mm-hmm. Like every time you end a run, and depending on what you did in the run, you like unlock little pieces of the timeline, where you can then like retrace how everything happened and so on and so forth. And it also, like, unlocking stuff on the timeline also unlocks stuff in game, so that makes a lot of sense as well. Very, very clever. Thought that was a cool way to do that.
Maybe you should do that. You can like that and put that in your game. Because Nick, this segues well, and this is something I want to ask about.
Ooh.
What is going on with Taranga?
Nothing is going on.
Look me in the eye, so tell me why. Tell me why, Nick. Why is nothing going on with Taranga?
I'm opening your little profile picture here. I'm looking into your swirly eye. Klabss, do you have eyes?
It's an organ that is both an eye, a mouth, and a nose.
It was brilliant. Anyways, I'm looking you directly into your mouth, eye, nose thing, and saying, Klabss, Taranga has existed solely in my brain for these last months or so. I forget how long it is, because I find it hard to describe how quickly time passes, and maybe you can relate, but there is a certain feeling I get sometimes where I'm like, wow, it really has been, and then insert number of years here since I've done anything on this game. And it, like, yes, it's about setting your priorities. Yes, it's about saying, yes, I want to do work on this right now instead of, other things. And that just has been, or that has not been, Taranga in its, game form, in the Scratch version of it. Instead, I've just been, like, this is still constantly happening. I've just been, like, thinking about the story, because it's, to me at least, which doesn't say anything, but it's a really intriguing story that I'm trying to build. And I'm also really trying to find my footing with how to create a story at all that is fun to write and doesn't feel artificial in a way. I hope you know what I mean. It's like, I really don't know how you do it with your stories, because I really enjoy every little like story bit that you put into Gumbelgurt or into your other projects. But it's been hard for me to really figure out how to form a story so that it feels organic in a way, and I think I'm getting closer to that. But that's just been a fun like thought exercise for me every time I, have a little bit of time to myself. That's what I can say to that. I think not even 3 days ago or so, I had the thought of, wow, I really should just. This is basically what we talked about last time, but wow, I really should just not bother about the story in this Scratch game and just give the people the Scratch game. But I've also been thinking a lot about the comics and stuff I wanted to make. How to set up the characters, how to present them, how to make the whole universe a little more lively than just you're controlling this character. Like, because that's what it is in the Scratch right now. You're just controlling a character. You don't really know much about them except for that little text at the start. And that doesn't really cut it for me, but I also understand now the Scratch game doesn't have to be all that. I'd rather put that in a comic. But then again, that comic might not be fitting for Scratch.
Well, now we're in circles here, Nick, because you're concerned about a story because you want to make a story, because Taranga is a story to you.
Yes.
And right now, none of it is in the Scratch game, right?
Yeah, you have bits and pieces scattered around, and you have to connect the dots yourself, but there's so little they're so far apart, I would say, without any correlation, that it just, like, you might as well be thinking of your own, like, entirely made-up story. There's little to uncover. There's just, little
just
points in
pieces,
time.
Little world
bits
building
and
pieces. Right.
Little world building pieces, yeah.
I think we already talked about this, so that's why I want to, like, push you a little bit, because it's been a long time and I don't think anything has changed. Which is...
No, not really. No.
That I think you need to decide like soon rather than putting it off, like what is important to you about this Scratch game. And if it is about telling the story and you don't have any space left, then this Scratch game can't do that for you. And so
I think I've come to terms with that.
Right, so now just what you should do, in my opinion, is make it the most fun game it can be and get people excited for the version of the game that will have the story in it.
I feel like, or it's what I said earlier with priorities, where I just haven't been setting any sort of time for Taranga recently, and by recently I mean like in the last year or two, because other projects kept coming up, and those felt more, to me, either more fun or more urgent, in a way. There's sometimes, maybe you can relate, and if you do, please do tell.
I do.
But
I do.
Sometimes things come up that, like, feel like they are more worthy of your attention than other ones, either because you want to strike the iron while it's hot, or because a bunch of friends are working on that thing as well, and you would really, like, let that fizzle basically if you didn't work on it. And if you like, I can talk about my biggest project that has been taking up a bunch of time recently, that I think I haven't talked about on Scratch anywhere, and it's been like a year or half a year in the making.
From what I understood, a lot of what was going into your new big project is done. It is.
Well,
what's taking up your time, Nick?
I can tell you. Okay, so before we beat around the bush too much.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to talk about this on last SRcast as well, but just didn't really get the chance to. And that's all right. I think that's what SRDevs is really good for. But basically, to start in the order of things happening, Sandy, who I I've surely talked about before on the SRcast.
I don't know if you have.
I mean, I've mentioned Sandy here and there, but like, of course, my lovely partner who has been studying. What is this? It's not graphic design. It's like communications design, whatever it's called in English. For her bachelor's degree, wanted to create a game, and with maybe some motivation from my end, I'm not entirely sure. She decided to create a card game for that bachelor's degree, and like as a final project, basically for that. And so she created that. For that, it went really well, and I was luckily able to, play test it a bunch with her and also give feedback here and there. But after she, finished her degree and everything, she got pretty good feedback from the people who saw it. Also at the, there's like a, what is it called? Little event where you get to show off your, bachelor's degree pick to a bunch of people that want to come over, not just the professors, but everyone else. And through that, she met an old friend of hers, like a really old friend who she hasn't seen in a long time. But her friend was super excited about the game and actually knew someone who, and this is a big chain of a person who knew a person who knew a person, but what it led to is that she basically got the chance to show the game to a person who could recommend it to publishers in Germany, first and foremost. Publishers, some bigger, some smaller, some bigger who have also done stuff around the globe. But for that, basically, she said, okay, Nick, you've played a card game or two in your time, and this card game could use some help maybe here and there. And she brought me on board, and I was able to not only play test and give feedback from a little bit of a distance, but instead actively be part of the process. And that card game is called 10 versus 10. It's a card game in which you make a deck out of 10 cards, numbered from 1 to 10, and play against your opponent with only 10 cards. So it is supposed to be which makes sense for, a bachelor's degree where you only have a half a year to work on it. It was supposed to take the whole idea of trading card mechanics and stuff, but boil it down into the essentials to just make it really easy to pick up, but also still give a lot of depth for people who, older people. So the whole idea started when she was sitting with her nephew, her little nephew, was 7 years old or so, and they wanted to pass the time with something that wasn't video games. So they started sketching little cards and stuff, and that's where the whole idea started. So it was supposed to be easy, so also kids could start playing the game, but also it wouldn't be boring for somebody who has played card games for a while, like me, for example. And so we made the game into that. We actually got to talk to a bunch of publishers through, the contacts. And unfortunately, up until this point at least, I can say nothing came of it yet. But for example, this next weekend, we are visiting an event where we can show off the game again to a bunch of people and play test with them. Because the game is it is not done, I would say, even though it has had a long history of us showing different versions of the game at different times to different publishers. The game is still we're still actively improving it, and I don't know, maybe that makes a lot of sense. A year, which is pretty much how long it has been now, maybe something in between a year and half a year, is not that much time, all things considered, for making a game perfect, or as close to perfect as you can hopefully get, if you want to release it at least. But maybe I'm also sure that's never going to be the case, but I also don't know how the whole releasing or publishing thing is going to go. Maybe whatever publisher we would get would say but here's a few things we might want to adjust if we want to give it a try. So yeah, now I've talked a bunch about that.
but here's the slice, Nick. like that was a big project, and I remember it taking a bunch of your time last.
Oh, it's still
year.
going on.
Right, but you know, on your let's look at like the last month. What has been taking up your time the last month?
Okay, so I mean, again, the project is still like 10 versus 10 is still a thing, and because of this upcoming event that we're going to and stuff, and like continuous, I guess, like good feedback from people that we do play the game with. Oh, there was also, okay, sorry, I just need to mention this maybe as well. There was like a little event we held with a bunch of friends where we played the game with like basically a bunch of randomized decks. Not really a draft pick, but basically you just pick, like, you got one, if you will, a booster pack of it. The game is not really meant to be sold in booster packs, but I think that event showed that there was some fun in that to be had, because, you know, it's just 10 cards per deck, so you can easily just put 10 cards numbered from 1 to 10 into a booster pack. And
I've always been of the opinion that the game works better as a living card game where you get all of the cards. And so I think if you wanted to, you could just make that a game mode in the set. So like you can shuffle all the cards into little fake card packs and then people can open them.
That is pretty much what like is in the current like rules. You can play the game like that, but because we wanted to try it, and it turned out to be a lot of fun as well. But also we gave the like the people who attended the event also these little feedback, not flyers, you know what I mean? Like, well, yeah, they can just, you know, we had a few questions, 10 questions, haha, for the people. And from that, we got a bunch of feedback that we're currently using. And just today, I finished the 13th reversion of the cards, or like, you know, revision of the effects and everything for, again, next weekend, where we're gonna go to a little play session or like, you know, play testing event close to Cologne, and there I guess we'll see a little more and maybe even meet some more people who would be interested in publishing the game. What I can say for sure, like, even though it's been a lot of work that was put into this, and yes, of course it's not like published yet or anything, but it has been such a cool experience seeing how people react to the game, first and foremost, but also how the board game like scene, if you can call it that, is, at least I can say in Germany, like the people are so kind in this like field of in this, it's a business in the end, right? But there is so much kindness from people, even at like, again, the big publisher, one of the bigger publishers in Germany. I'm not sure if I can say the name of them, so I will not, but they were also super like kind, and we had like only half an hour to really pitch the game to them, but it was really cool to even have that experience. So without, like, you know, even if nothing comes of it, that was already an overwhelmingly positive experience. And that's, I think, why we keep like working on the game, because
well, I think you should.
I see potential, but yeah
it's like avenue for you to get into like real game publishing. So I definitely understand that being prioritized over everything else. I was under the impression that there hadn't been that much needed to work on the game, but it sounds like you've been still revising it and playtesting it a lot.
Yes. So as I said earlier, like there have been now 13 iterations of the different card effects, and I think nowadays it's like all the way at the start we were making huge changes, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Like you're gonna find out a proper way somewhere along the line, not right at the start. But we're now at the point where we fine-tune things that still have meaningful impact, that don't just, like, it's not just this one stat is one higher or one less or something. It's okay, by just changing around the effect of this one card, it makes this deck. So there's like 6 different decks that we made, each containing, of course, 10 cards, but they're all different factions that should feel different from each other based on, you know, what they are and what they're based around. I hope I can show some images, because there's like, they're all based on phenomena in the universe, and like, or how you say, like pieces of
phenomenon sounds right.
Yeah. So there's like a sun faction, a moon faction, there's a planet faction in general, there's ones based on famous stars, there's one based on famous nebula.
Editor, put those on the screen. Editor.
I'm not sure how we're gonna do it in on Scratch, but
listen,
we'll find a way.
SRDevs is all about innovation and
exactly,
and adding new unique features. So I'm sure our editor will figure it out.
Yes.
Whoever that is.
Yeah. Let's get the intern for that, Mr. Apfelman.
Mr. Appleman.
Yeah.
I have work for you. So I have a question. Over the course of last month, let's say you have 100 units of free time.
Yes.
Away from spending time with your partner, hanging out with friends, going grocery shopping, watching YouTube, etc., etc.
Life stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so you have like 100 units of true free time to work on whatever you want to work on. Honestly, YouTube, if you're just watching YouTube, that counts as part of your free time. So
I think so as well. Gaming,
so,
just deciding to play Slay the Spire 2 with Quite and Kieran.
You have 100 units. How many units last month of the free time you had do you think went to 10 versus 10?
I would say it would be 50.
So half
maybe?
the time you had free time, you were working on 10 versus 10?
I think so. And then about, let me see, what are the projects that were really taking up my time? It's for 1, SRcast, for 2, Card Game Singularity, for 3, SFRT, 4 is 10 versus 10. I'm not sure if you want to count like Scratch YouTube stuff, or sorry, ScratchRunning YouTube stuff as well.
I'm counting any time where you're like, oh, I have no obligations right now. What do I want to do?
I'm also learning Godot a little bit. It finally happened. Which is also something I want to say. It is amazing that I finally dipped my toes into something that was not Scratch. And boy, that is something I wanted to talk to you about, klabss.
Certainly.
If you don't mind me pivoting to that.
Well, let me just finish this.
Let's finish
this. It sounds like you do not have a lot of free time. Or at least, yeah, like, but okay, how many days a week or how many hours do you think you had of free time last month?
I'm gonna try to calculate this for a moment, or not like or like go through it in my head and then just cut it out. Like, okay, I guess that would mean like about, having calculated roughly, it would be like 2.5 hours per day, and on the weekends maybe a little bit more.
And so, okay, I'll take off a couple of the 2.5 hours, add 5 hours. That sounds like you get about 85 hours of freedom a month.
I'm not sure if I kept up kept up
I
well enough to. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So would you say you spent 42 hours basically doing 10 versus 10?
Good question. Probably less, now that you say it like that.
Yeah. What about like 10 hours?
Oof. No, it's probably 20. I should really track that at a certain point. I think that is a clever idea in general, to just track your time and make like a little set time aside for certain things.
Yeah, my professor does the.
I can imagine it works well. I mean, I've heard it work a lot.
So 10 versus 10 felt like it took up half of your time because it's just like a big project, but in reality, you also had a bunch of other time, which tells me that also just working on Taranga might just be something you mentally don't want to do.
No, it is, as I said, like, you yourself set your priorities. I don't think there is that much time left, like, just from the feeling of it. I know you calculated through it.
Yeah, these are the numbers. If
I know the
20
truth.
hours. Let's say you spent 20 hours. But this is the truth.
Is it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
if
I
you
mean, we just made some
about...
not arbitrary, but like some. I'm gonna be honest, based on my like, this is a rough calculation, one after the other, which could just lead to a really not
uneducated kid.
Uneducated guess, but mostly from my part. Mostly from my part. I could just tell you how it feels that I don't think.
Well, that's how it feels. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In any case, I think before we like spend too much time with calculating around.
I mean, this is what the SRDevs is all about, and I know this is an uncomfortable line of questioning, but it's something you have to consider.
I think it's fair. I think what this taught me, at least that's what this taught me, is that I should really just calculate my time for a week or so.
Yeah,
for a month.
Try it, and then see like what you feel
track.
like might be eating up your time that isn't that important to you. Or
Yeah.
if you have extra downtime, you aren't doing anything, what you could be doing with it. If those things are important to you.
Sometimes you're just tired from work and just want to sleep.
That's totally true. And like we could take an hour off every day for that, but you'd still have time left over to work on Taranga.
Surely. I think so, yeah. I'll report back. I'll be interested to see.
Which isn't
how
to
it
say
goes.
you better be working on Taranga. It's to say I want you to consider that you might have the time in your schedule to work on it, but there's something that's still stopping you.
I wonder what that like. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I could like, work
I don't
on
know,
it,
maybe
but I
sitting
still don't
down
think
and
it would
opening
be
the project and like seeing how big it is and all the problems that are annoying to work on and the JSON limit and it's not exactly where you want it to be and you're disappointed in the products you've made.
I'll tell you something, klabss. I haven't even opened the project in a while.
That's what I'm talking. So
No,
you can't even
like,
open it.
when I
Surely
do-
opening it would take like 1 minute.
The Scratch project right now, I'm less interested in than the story. So if I'm doing something for Taranga, it is either like scribbling little comics into my sketchbook or trying to write down stuff in the timeline.
Which is good time you're spending doing that. But I think you have to decide, is there a way to even make working on the Scratch game something that is interesting to you? Because we've talked, there have been several times where you've said, I've set apart a day to work on Taranga. And that doesn't happen.
That hasn't been the case for a while, no. That hasn't been the case for a while.
So I know
I'll be
your
100%
brain
honest.
is like trying to tell you, I just don't have any time for it, because that feels nicer to the thing you want to work on. Because I know you want to have it done, but I think honestly, your brain doesn't want to touch that project with a 10-foot pole.
Consider this, like when I have, and this is what I meant earlier, like setting priorities for stuff. I feel like SFRT is at a more is at a point where there are people that are playing it, and there is stuff that we're working on actively on it, and there's like the little, what is it, like the SFRT fight nights that we want to or that I also really want to see happen. So that is why I rather open up SFRT when I'm opening up a Scratch project rather than Taranga. I agree with you that like the game being done and out would be cool, but I see the more immediate, I guess my brain sees the more immediate like thing of, okay, yeah, but here's a few bugs you can fix for SFRT, and then that version is done for SFRT Fight Night in a few days or so, right? So that's the more like immediate way to
Use your time.
get something done. Yeah.
Yeah, but Nick, it's been years.
Yeah.
Right?
I
So
know.
every week there's something that's a little more interesting, that's easier to do. And you've now told me multiple times, hey, I'm setting this day to work on Taranga. And you don't.
No, but I mean, that's why I said, like, that hasn't happened for a while. That is, like, since the last time we spoke on SRDevs, that has probably not been the case. But things change. Things change. And I'm like, you are basically right now, like, the comments saying, come on, man, finish Taranga. And I'm the guy saying, no, I have different priorities right now. I am thinking about that, but I am not like obligated to finish that Scratch project.
No, you're not at all. You're not getting paid for it. I'm saying, because
It's just how I choose to spend the time.
honestly, Nick, like if you don't, I already expect you to drop the game and not finish it. That's.
I mean, I hope everybody doesn't hold their breath.
Yeah. So, but the point
either.
of my line of questioning is for you to internalize it, because what you said earlier wasn't necessarily. It's not my priority. It was I don't have any time for it, which implies like you want to do it, but.
No, I think saying priority means like I have this amount of time, but I dedicate it to something else rather than this. Does that make sense? I guess.
Well, right, but if you have more time, then you can do the things lower on your priorities.
Surely, but it doesn't seem like that in my life right now.
Well, it must be very low on your priorities, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is not like okay. Here again to give everyone the full explanation of my thoughts on Taranga right now is this universe, if you will, not talking about the Scratch project, but the universe and the characters is something that I love to think about on my off time. When I'm on my way to work, when I'm, falling asleep, when I'm in the bus somewhere, going somewhere, or in the train or whatever, on the train. But rarely, because again, when I'm on the PC, I better, open up SFRT, or I better work on this or edit this as Rcast, or I better record this YouTube video or whatever. So it is low on the priority list in those cases, but it is still something I absolutely adore to think about as a thought exercise in world building ways. That is the absolute truth of how I'm thinking about. That is truth. I found it.
So then, Nick, if you are going to keep living your life and you're going to keep having opportunities and the new projects, and so I want you to think about this, when would it ever
Release?
be a priority for you to work on Taranga? And
as the Scratch project?
The answer sounds like never.
I thought after SFRT was after Recall came out, foolish as I was, I thought my brain would start to think differently.
Right, because you finished the big project, and then you can do the one that's lower
the next
on
big
your priorities. But
then that game kind of turned into it doesn't even have a season pass or anything, but it turned into now people actually play this game. So it feels really cool to do something to keep the game healthy and work out the bugs. I could also not, but it feels nice to do so. I have something. I have the project. What is it? What you said at the start? I have this project in my hand instead of the
projects in the bush.
The Taranga in the bush.
Right.
So that's basically where my thought comes from.
But then think about it, Nick. It's always going to feel better to work on these projects than it is to finish Taranga. Future Nick is not going to be like, you know what? I love the Taranga Scratch game. Let's hop on and finish it.
I do like the Scratch game still. And again, as I said to you, I just recently, a few days ago on my way home, I was like, yeah, I would probably like to finish that as just a game without any story and just give the people that. There was something that we mentioned last time about the Taranga universe, if you will, where we were thinking about comics that I would make prior to the game or adjacent to the game, parallel to the game, that could explain some of the stuff behind it. Kind of like how you did Comment Adventures, and it's actually a big inspiration to me. Not in the way that it would be sort of directed by the comments, but more in the way that it led up to something, which is a game. If I were to make the comics, I'm not sure if my writing or what I want to get across would be super fitting for Scratch. I don't know. How did you feel about making your Comment Adventures episodes that were a little more serious, on the serious note? I would still want to implement funny bits, right? Because I think a good story works with humor and serious stuff.
Your concern is like how dark the material would be on Scratch.
Yeah. If it would really work for that.
Look at Community Fork, right? That one's just a pain and misery comic. That the main character is just going through hell.
That's true.
And I've had death in my comics. Just I don't have like a bunch of blood on the screen.
That makes sense. I wouldn't also. Probably.
I think you could perfectly do you could do a dark comic about Taranga on Scratch that reads like a good like comic.
And then I could also maybe, if Scratch is still fine with it, use some cool soundtracks that I would love to put in there. Do you ever have that where you're listening to a soundtrack and you're hit by inspiration for what like kind of scene this could really go well with? Or
Absolutely.
I think the most motivating thing or inspiring thing to me is music, in terms of anything else that I do. Like,
yes.
Is that the same for you as well? Or maybe that's the same for everybody on this planet. I'm not sure.
It might just be part of being human.
Yeah, I think music is such a great way to express feelings without throwing them into your face.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
No, you keep going.
So that's no. I was just finishing my thought of like, I would love it to be on Scratch because for one, there's people there that could see it and that would also be cool to not just shout it out into the world somewhere where it would be a completely untouched part of the internet, but then also being able to put your music in there and whatever you want like the music to be.
Right. I've challenged you a lot this episode of the SRDevs. I've confronted you quite a bit, and
you have. But I'm glad you do.
I have to push on you sometimes, and I would like to give you one more challenge that I don't think is going to be too hard, because especially since you already sound like you're thinking about Taranga's story stuff, and I would say within the next month, try to at least get an idea of like the first chapter of this potential comic, or even like sketch out some ideas for how you want to make a comic that will lead into the Scratch game or a remake of the Scratch game with like more effort put into it, or like on
it would probably just be the Scratch game. I'll be honest. I'm totally fine with it. Again, I know you said like future Nick is not going to be happy with the Scratch game.
Well, this might be what it takes to get future Nick interested in the Scratch game.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
Because as it stands, future Nick, if 10 versus 10 gets published, or like if future Nick SFRT gets more popular, future Nick is just gonna want to work on those.
That makes sense.
Like they're not gonna be
sometimes
more interested in coming back to the Scratch Taranga. Yeah. And so it's up to you whether or not you want to keep working on Scratch Taranga. And if you want it to at some point be released, I think this comic is the first step. So I would think hard on how you want to do that and how you want to. If you need help, I can help as well. But I think you got to make this comic.
I think so as well. I would love to see this comic happen. And if you like, again, I don't know how much time you have left, but after this recording, to just chat a little about it could be cool. But perchance Bert. But I sometimes wonder if it's not the best idea to cling onto projects like I do in certain ways, because I've done the same for the card game Singularity. Like I've seen a lot of people be interested in the card game Singularity, and that made me more interested in it as well. And made me think like, okay, now I could make this a really, really cool thing instead of just a silly, really cool thing. And so that's kind of what happened with that as well, where I was like, okay, let's see what this can become if I do spend a lot of time on it. And that's how the Big Bang like season update and whatnot, and the whole idea behind it came to be. And now, of course, the card game Singularity is in a bit of a weirder spot now, where there's not too many people playing it, but I'm like sitting here with this really cool game that the team and I have made. where I'm like thinking, okay, but now I would love to see this go on. What do I do now? And that's the same thing with SFRT, I think, where it's like, okay, we had at first, like all the way back, when DN made the first like silly draft of SFRT, and then MacLeod made the engine, and then I was like, oh yeah, now this got me interested in SFRT a lot again. Let's dive deep into it. And it's kind of like probably what Quite also experienced with the card game Singularity by itself. Just that Quite is really good at saying, yeah, okay, now I'm jumping ship.
Mm-hmm.
Which I respect.
Yeah, I mean, either is fine. It's fine to keep working on it or to change your priorities after you've done enough. And I especially know Quite was getting stressed out a lot.
I can imagine.
And interfacing with like a huge new audience. So I don't necessarily think that you have to take that as like a guideline on how to deal with your projects blowing up or like them finishing and whatnot. You don't have to do any of this. This is just me giving you a push if you even want to make this Scratch game anymore.
I think I'm not like beating myself up over not. I think you know that. Like, I'm not beating myself up over not finishing Taranga.
No,
or like
I don't
not releasing the Scratch project. I think I'm totally fine. Like, no matter how many comments I got that say, you know, where's Taranga? Please add another character. This game.
You should
is
just
so
take that
unbalanced.
as people love your game, though, Nick. That's the thing.
Yes,
people
I love it
adore
too.
it. That's what they want. Your next update.
But I can't always do what other people want, and I think nobody should really. It really is just about listening to. This will sound very corny, but just listening to my heart every now and then, and just seeing, okay, what do I feel like doing right now? And right now, that is, for one, seeing the big chance in 10 versus 10, perhaps. Who knows? What can that is a fish of unknown potential.
Right.
That can be fished, maybe. Who knows? Like if you were to see an opportunity to have someone publish your game, Gumbelgurt, somebody were to say like, okay, I see Gumbelgurt 2 and how great of a game it is. Buddy, if I were to make some music for it, and have this publisher perhaps you can talk to, you would probably also drop a lot of things and say like, okay, yeah, maybe this is worth something.
Right.
Maybe this is worth pursuing.
But what I would do, and what I've always done, is I do get my stuff done. Like, even if I take a hiatus for a year, I have not dropped many games.
I see.
That I have at least published and then said I was going to keep working on.
Ah, okay.
And that's because, you know, just post it, right? Like, even if it's not perfect or it's not exactly what I want it to be, if I can at least get it to the finished state that I had in mind, I can look back at it and be happy. I can say, oh, I did everything I wanted to do with this project. At least for me, that is important for me.
I think I've said this before, but I feel like the preview of Monster World was that. Like, I was trying to see if I could make this thing, and I was very happy with the preview.
So then why'd you keep working on it?
Because Taranga is just there's just something nested in my brain somewhere that I probably cannot really explain why. It has a lot to do with nostalgia, I'm pretty sure. Nostalgia is such a powerful feeling for us humans. It is. But it is the sole thing that is fueling that, I think. And it's the fact that a lot of people seem to like what was going on with it, even though it was just a Slay the Spire clone. Like, it's also Scratch. Like, it's the fact that people can play a free, quote unquote, Slay the Spire online that helped a lot of the. But there were other people who were also like thinking or, you know, asking questions about, you know, characters or the world or finding certain designs cool, which gave me the thought that, okay, maybe whatever I'm doing here isn't, you know, just for me. It's also for people to see and be inspired by. And that's also, I think, what motivates me. Oh, and yes, absolutely this as well. The thought of wanting to tell a story. I know that sounds silly, especially since I've talked so much about it this episode, but it's like the thought of actually telling a story that like, I don't want it to be super political or anything. I don't think that's what I'm really made for as a person, but I think I want it to resonate somehow with people. I think that is my goal that I haven't really achieved as of yet, because all the games I've made so far have just been mechanically interesting, or like from a visual standpoint interesting, or from whatever else, but not story. Story has not been something that I've been able to dive into yet.
Nick?
So yeah, you probably relate.
There's something biting at the reel. There's something biting at the hook, and I want to talk more, but I think a fish has arrived.
I think that's okay. I think when you see a fish, you better go catch it.
That's true. Oh, it's a pretty good one. I got a salmon.
Yo! What is?
Okay, wow.
Did somebody write something on there?
It says, "My name is klabss. Thank you so much for watching. This has been SRDevs with Nick Apfellord." I think they spelled it wrong. We hope to see you in the next one. Wow, they took the words right out of my mouth and kind of etched it onto the fish in a strange, sort of scary way.
Hides a scalpel behind his back. What the heck? Who would do that?
What you put it on there, didn't you, trickster? Well, you guys heard the fish. Terrible. I hope you guys will see you next time on the next episode of SRDevs.
This was an interesting one. Thank you, klabss, as always, for hanging out. And if anybody got anything from this, do tell what, because I'm not exactly sure. But I hope you enjoyed listening anyway.
Bye.
Bye.